Hi, my name is Bob Taylor, and I'm your guest host for today's segment of Our Ventura TV. I'm here today with my guest, Chad Atkins, from a nonprofit called Paw Works. Chad, Paw Works says a lot. What is Paw Works?
What Paw Works is actually we are the largest 501c3 nonprofit animal rescue here in Ventura County. We began in 2014 of January. And what we started was we began to work with the county shelter, and our goal was to actually encompass a no-kill shelter system.
Oh, so your goal was to make sure it was a no-kill Ventura County system?
Yes.
Was Ventura County system a no-kill before you got there?
They were not. They actually had 1 week previous to us being there. I can't remember the actual date, but it had been a few years. But as of January 2014, Ventura County Animal Services is actually officially no-kill for 17 consecutive months.
Wow, that's amazing that a county this size can be no-kill.
We actually are the largest county in California and second in California to be no-kill.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, that's got to be a thrill for you. I mean, seeing your goal realized just by opening up your nonprofit.
It's absolutely an amazing goal and reward because the amount of animals we've saved in, what are we, 18 months almost now? Almost over 1,100 animals we've saved.
Okay, now let's get the bad stuff out of the way.
Yes.
First, you're a no-kill.
We are.
Animals come into you that there is no saving. Animals come into you that have been deserted on the road, that are almost dead. So
Yes.
animals come into you in shape that they can't be saved sometimes.
Sometimes.
And
Absolutely.
so when you list it as no-kill, sometimes an animal has to be euthanized.
The term no-kill means you are allowed at 10%.
Okay. And that's what I wanted to get to,
Yes.
because somebody's going to call in and
Yes.
say, "Wait a minute."
So it's 90% live release or above.
Right. But
So-
you don't let any of that stuff. I mean, I see it all the time. Somebody's in the hospital. This
Yes.
dog's in the hospital. Those
Oh
kind
yeah,
of things.
the thousands of dollars we spend on hospitals and training and boarding. I mean, absolutely. It's interesting because the animals that used to go into the shelter, they can't, like the kittens and the puppies and the injured, they can't always get to them. There's not vets on staff in the middle of the night.
Right.
So who do they call? They would call us or they call another rescue. And if no one answers, these animals have to be euthanized because it's the right thing to do. So now we're there, they can call us, they can pick up the phone. I mean, I've picked up animals 10, 11 o'clock at night at the shelter. And you do what you have to do, and you save them, and sometimes you can't. And the humane thing to do is to euthanize them.
Right. Okay. And now, you just touched on another thing. 10 o'clock at night. You got a 24/7 job, Chad.
A rescue is a 24/7 job. I mean, it's nonstop.
So do you have people that help you? I mean, do you ever get to get away?
Once in a while, but my phone's always on. My business partner right now is actually on vacation, and I get to stay here and man the ship. But we do it through. We do have employees, and we also we need volunteers. I mean, volunteers are always needed.
All right, let's talk volunteers.
Yes.
I think one of the greatest things people can do to get out of their own challenges, shall we say, or problems, is to volunteer at an animal shelter.
Absolutely.
And how many volunteers do you have?
I'd probably say we have about 100 to 150.
How many do you think you could utilize to properly take care of not just what's going on today, but where you want to be a year from now or 2 years from now?
Do you think there's a number? I don't think there's a number.
That's a good answer. So anybody.
Anybody, everybody.
And do you have some kind of coordination? So if somebody calls ahead of time so that I can be there Thursday at 2.
Absolutely. We have actually a volunteer coordinator that you can check us out at pawworks.org. The volunteer coordinator information is there. But that's the best way because then she coordinates our event, she coordinates the store that we have, our adoption center at the small that we have, she coordinates the time that you can be there. And any time helps. Anytime you're holding a dog or walking a dog, everything is rewarding to the animal.
Not just to the animal.
Well, to the people as well.
To the person do it. I heard a long time ago, somebody once said, there's a reason dog is God spelled backwards.
True.
And that just, it just gives me goosebumps whenever I think of that.
Well, you got to be careful because of the cat people.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And I guess they're just as important. But when people think animal rescue, I guess the first thing they think of is dog. But
they do.
You guys take any kind of?
We take cats and dogs. We actually began the feral cat program here in Ventura County. The Animal Services tried for many years to implement it, and it wasn't very successful. And what that means is feral cats are by the thousands.
Right.
Any city you go to, they're out there. And you can't just put them back out. So you have to spay and neuter them, you have to microchip them, you test them for FELV, FIV, and then what you have to do is you have to put them in a scenario that is safest for them. So there's a barn cat program that we run, and we'll go into the local farms, anybody has a shed, and what you do is you put the animal, the cat there, for 2 to 3 weeks, food, water, litter box, and then you open it up, and they know that's where they come back for the food and water, that's their shelter, but they'll be your mousers.
Oh, that's really a great idea. So
Yeah.
you match up the need with the feral cats that are out there.
Absolutely.
And so you don't turn anybody away. I mean, anybody come in some kind of wild cat, or I found this on the street. Or...
Well, for us, we pull directly from the shelter.
Okay.
Rarely do we take owner surrenders or rescue to rescues, but we do on occasion for the right circumstance.
Right.
But for the most part, any animal that comes to the shelter, because our goal when we began, our mission was to make Ventura County and the sheltering system no kill.
Okay, now, if you called one of the shelters, and would the shelter say we're full, or will they say, oh, we'll try to find some place for you?
Sometimes, unfortunately, for owner surrenders, they do have to say they're full, but they will give our phone number out. So
Oh, they will give your number.
They
out,
will,
so
and
people can then-
other rescues that are here locally as well.
Right, okay, so they will always give people an option.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So we're known as that in our county. How many counties, we only have 2 that are no-kill in California?
There's Reno County, which is right here on the border of Nevada. It's probably a quarter of the size of animal intakes, because animal intakes here in Ventura County is about 11,000 a year. So it's a quarter of that.
And how many can our shelters take of that 11,000?
Oh, they take all of them over time. So
If they're full,
if they're full, that's where Paw Works comes in. That's
Okay,
where
now,
the other rescues come in.
Before the rescues were there.
They would have to euthanize.
So do they look for their weakest to euthanize, or their newest in? I guess something we didn't want to think about, really.
Well, I don't know their criteria, but a lot of times I believe, and this is my opinion just from being in the system, you have to look at the aggression, the adoptability rate, how long they've been there.
Right.
And sadly, the largest number, if you walk into the shelter, any shelter, you have pit bulls and you have chihuahuas.
Right.
So who do you think's the first to go?
Right.
And a big dog takes up much more room than a small dog. You can usually put 3, 4, 5 small dogs in one kennel when you can only usually put one big dog in a kennel. So who do you think's going to go
And
first?
the aggressive are known as
Even if they're not aggressive,
pit
maybe
bulls
they.
and chihuahuas.
Yeah.
Chihuahuas.
No, and it's a
For a little
falsity.
for a little weenie dog that you're
Right.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
they really are. Okay, now you guys haven't been around an awful long time.
18 months.
And I know that you didn't win the lottery and start this because you won the lottery. Where does your funding come from? I mean, that's got to cost you a bundle for everything you're doing.
Last year our budget was about $380,000. So donations are huge. That made up about a third to a half, roughly.
That is great.
So in our first year, to make up about 100 to 150,000 was amazing. But the other is from my business partner, Christina Morgan. She has self-funded many of the opportunities that we've presented to the public and the community.
And those are successful different things.
Very much so. Like we just began this year, we did the spay and neuter clinics that we offer to Oxnard community, the low-income residents. Many people don't realize this, but 43% of the animals that come into the animal shelter here in Ventura County come from Oxnard.
That's a big percentage.
It's almost 50%.
Now, is that because they're from Oxnard, or because the outlying places can't get to you, like Fillmore, Santa Paula, or do they get to you also?
And they get to the shelter as well.
Okay.
There's several cities in Ventura County that don't contract with Ventura County Animal Services. One would be Santa Paula because they have their own no-kill shelter there. The other would be Thousand Oaks because they contract with actually LA.
But they're still no kill.
Agora is, but if you take all of the city of LA, they are not.
No, but I mean, anybody Thousand Oaks or
Yes.
Ventura County in.
Yes.
They stay with that. So Santa Paula's on board. or
Yes, absolutely.
Anybody else that comes
Yes.
in, and they make sure because of Ventura County. Okay, now are you? One of the things I really like is 211. Are you registered with 211?
I am not. I'm not.
But 211 is United Way's call number. You call 211 for any problem you have.
Okay.
And I actually used them once on a weekend when a friend of mine's dog disappeared, and I couldn't get hold of anybody long before I knew you guys. I couldn't find out if this dog was turned in anywhere, or how to find this dog. So I called 211, and they gave me some numbers to call.
That's a great idea.
And so, I mean, that'd be a good thing for you to get tied
I'll
up
definitely
with.
have to look into that.
Yeah, United Way 211. It's a great number for anybody. Okay, so your fundraisers. What fundraisers do you do that help you to keep alive, keep your nonprofit going?
Well, in previous years we were doing restaurant fundraisers, so anytime there was a restaurant that wanted to help us out, we would go and have a nightly fundraiser. Percentage of the sales would go to us. This year I've made it much more bigger scale. So every March we're going to be having our Ties and Tails Gala. And then we're also going to be
Ties and Tails, what's that?
It's a black tie event,
okay.
and it's primarily going to be a fundraising event.
But it can be a black suit or anything,
Absolutely.
any semi-formal or so.
Formal event. It's going to be the formalest of our events.
And is it like an auction type deal, dinner and dance?
There's dinner, there's cocktails, there's live auction, silent auction, dancing. It's the whole fun.
Just like a Boys and Girls Club thing
yes.
or something. But
it's a gala. It's the fun time.
Okay.
It's spending your money and having a good time.
Okay, and what other ones you got in there? That one's in March.
That's in March. So in May, we're going to begin our first annual golf tournament every May.
Okay, and that's something that can bring in a lot of people.
Yes, yeah, a lot of people, a lot of men who aren't, people think, and when you look across the board, rescue tends to be very emotionally driven. And us as men tend to kind of hold that back. But when you actually get men involved, you actually see how they love their animals and how much they're willing to give and do for them. So we're really going to hit the men on the golf tournament. Women will be invited, but it'll probably be a very male-driven event.
And there's ways to hit those guys when they're on the golf course.
Absolutely.
Have the little food carts come around with little dogs in them or something, and little smiles.
And the beer will be flowing.
And the beer will be flowing. All right, so what else you got in there? What other?
July, we will be doing our Barks and Bubbles, which it's all about information, figuring out what Paw Works has done, what Paw Works is doing, and where Paw Works is going. So, every event we do, it's about fundraising, of course, and
right.
we want to raise money. But the Barks and Bubbles will be all about information. Knowing anybody who wants to know, you come to that event.
Now, of course, when you say Barks and Bubbles, you sign up the dogs and a little bit of libations too. It sounds like that.
Absolutely, yes. It's going to be it's a brunch event.
Okay. So
yes.
Everybody can have a good time, enjoy themselves,
yes.
learn.
You always have to have a good time.
Oh, that's all part of the whole
it's
thing.
It's all heartfelt, yes.
Well, once you get with dogs and animals and rescue and stuff, you can't not have a good time.
Yes.
When you talk those kind of things. All right. Now, we have about 2 minutes left.
Okay.
Any general information you want to get out to everybody? Afterwards, we'll talk about how do people get a hold of you and donate, but any general information about Paw Works you want John Q. Public to know?
I want them to know that there's many ways to help, whether it's you're looking for your next dog, adopting, whether it's through Paw Works or any rescue organization, or going to the shelter and adopting. Volunteering is huge, as we talked about. You can never have enough volunteers. I have many programs that I'm going to be implementing in the next year. We're going to be going into the school system and educating the younger generation, because that's where we need to hit them home. So volunteering is always needed. And there's many different aspects. If you're not necessarily a pet person, but you love our organization and you love what we're doing, and you want to see that done, you can help us in other, grant writing. There's those ideas. And there's donating. We always need donations.
Right, right.
Being a 501c3, you live on donations.
Right.
You hope the events and everything you put out there brings in enough to at least break even and start implementing bigger programs.
Right. But even with that, you still need the people to support the people that are donating.
Absolutely. And one key thing that we do very well is fostering. So we get a lot of sick and elderly and medically challenged animals. So we always need fosters. And those are the people that they just want to give a little bit of their time to one animal. Maybe it's a few weeks, maybe it's a month. They take those animals in, treat them like their own, and get them well so they can be adopted.
Oh, that's really good. So they can fall in love with somebody without worrying about the responsibilities
yes.
of the future.
For the next 18 years, yes.
All right, so how does somebody get a hold of you, and what's your emails and those kind of things?
So if you want to get a hold of us, we of course have a website. It's pawworks.org. We're on all aspects of social media, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Our phone number it's 805, of course. It's 852-1744. And you can call us day or night if you're looking for something specific. Our system is set up so that you can hit, if you want to call me or my business partner or a social media person, or we have now a matchmaker who, if you're looking for a specific dog, you can contact her and say, when this person comes in or this dog comes in, we'll pair you up.
No fun.
So we have a lot of interesting and fun things. You check out our website, and the website is always the best.
Right. All right. Thank you very much, Chad.
Thank
you
you
very much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, my name is Bob Taylor. Thank you very much for being part of Our Ventura TV today. I've been here today with my guest, Chad Atkins from Paw Works. Until next time, thank you very much.